I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one?
Let's stop with all this nasty, vitriolic hate about the KKK. You know, everybody's always so busy talking about how the KKK lynched black people. Nobody ever stops and thanks the KKK for teaching us how to tie superior knots. My rope used to always come undone, okay? But thanks to the KKK, I know the best and tightest way to tie a fucking knot. And nobody ever talks about it. Nowadays, you're not even allowed to say it. Nowadays, you're not even allowed to think it. You know you've hit rock bottom when the only network that will host you is now Alex Jones, okay? You're in a tough spot already. Now, it was on this podcast where Kanye was so fucking insane, he literally, and I'm not kidding, he managed to make Alex Jones look sane and rational. Kanye West, more like Kanye South. He's going south, just like his mental well-being, and my brain cells for needing to review all this crap. Kanye South, KKK Kanye, whatever you want to call him, Yadoff, plenty of nicknames for the guy. He has gone on Alex Jones' show. Not only did he go on Alex Jones' show, but he actually went on Alex Jones' show with his good buddy, Nick Fuentes. So that's really cool. That is that's very cute that now we have Kanye West buddying up with an even louder and prouder neo-Nazi. Two peas in a pod, I guess. So we're not going to watch the entire interview, 50 minutes long, holy shit. However, we will go through the more controversial claims he made.
Well, I said with Ali Alexander and Nick Fuentes that we're like the SWAT team of free thought, and I go in with this battle ram at the door, and then they come in with these laser beams and have that information.
So the Jewish laser beams, that's really cute. For those of you who can't tell, this is Kanye West. No, he's not doing blacker face. He is wearing a full face mask. I'm not sure why. Maybe he's really scared of COVID. Maybe he's just so ashamed of his demented ideals that he would rather just hide his face. I'm not sure why he's wearing this, but, well, this is Kanye. Just so you know. It's not a talking, living mannequin powered by a Nazi AI. It is, in fact, Kanye West.
And we work together as a team. A lot of times in media, they want to single out one person and burn them to the core. That is a Zionist approach. And they're asking me to use that same approach. Well, hey, don't say all people, just say specifically the businessmen. And then I go on Lex Fridman and I say who it specifically, and that's still not enough. They're still taking it too far. Everyone knows and agrees now that it's like a reverse version of American History X, the scene when they put the guy's head against the curve and kick the back of it. And now people...
He thinks he's such a martyr. Me and Nick Fuentes, we're the last SWAT team of free thought. Woo! No, you're not. He has such a martyr complex. He thinks that he's out there in the trenches fighting the good fight. No, you're not. You're fighting the fact that you need a therapist immediately. You're fighting the fact that you need to be on some anti-psychiatric medication ASAP. Holy shit.
People are like, wait a second, the so-called crime doesn't deserve the punishment. What did I thought?
Well, that's right. You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well,
before we get into this part, let's just acknowledge that Alex Jones is trying to help Kanye here. He's like, you're not a Nazi. It's lame that people are calling you that, right? Long pause. Well,
I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love, us, and you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts, and you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician, you can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good, and I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one? Ari Emanuel, how you like that one? Hey, Ron, you going to do anything to fix Chicago?
There are so many thoughts, yet not a clear direction as to where I should start. Uh, okay. So, listen, for all of you that thought the enlightened centrist approach was really cringe, we've reached a new degree of enlightened centrism. Now we have the Jews are good and the Nazis are good. You're not a centrist anymore, dude. You're just a spineless cuck who's just siding with everything and anything because that's easier to do than stake out a position based on principle. What the hell is wrong with you? Are you wearing the mask to hide the fact that we can see like brain rot seeping out of your fucking skull? Jesus. All right, so we'll go through here and listen to this part again.
I see good things about Hitler also.
Kanye, what he's getting at here, it's quite obvious, which is that no human being is 100% evil. Virtually every human being has something they've done at one point or another that you could look at and be like, well, that thing isolated and stripped of context is good. Sure. That's what he is trying to get at, I think. Why does it seem as though he has a vested interest in propping up the quote-unquote good things that Hitler did? That's the first question that seems quite odd. Second of all, even if you want to talk about the good things Hitler did, which, by the way, it's not true that he invented the highways. We'll check that out in a second. But even if you want to talk about some isolated thing that maybe Hitler did that was good or something, it's a historical event. We know how this played out. It's not like talking about the current president. I mean, like, well, this thing was good, right? It's that Hitler rose to power, he massacred a fuck ton of people, and then he killed himself at the end of the story. Okay? That's it. We know how it played out. We know that for every quote-unquote good idea that Hitler may have had, we also know where it led. And it led to a Holocaust. So even if you want to say, well, he made a microphone, and did you hear about the highways that allegedly he built? Okay. We know where that fucking highway led, okay? And it was to a goddamn gas chamber. So you getting up here and trying to like isolate the good things that Hitler did, it comes off incredibly sussy because Adolf Hitler is a historical figure with a fuck ton of baggage. We know how it all played out. We know that anything good he may have done was so heavily dwarfed by the bad he did that it's worthless to talk about the minuscule good that he may have done.
I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love.
So I love everyone. Even that. No? You know, you don't have to love everyone, Kanye. It's okay to hate some people. I don't love everyone. I hate you, for example, but I love my family. I love the people watching. I especially love the people that donate to my super chat. I mean, this idea that like, oh, well, I just love everybody. No. Stop doing that. Stake out a fucking position, you spineless cretin.
Of, us. And you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts. And you can love what we're pushing with the pornography.
So what we're doing with the contracts and pushing pornography, again, a very common neo-Nazi talking point, which is that the Jews dispersed the pornography throughout our society to try and subvert the powerful Western man who is now too busy stroking his cock at incest porn. And it's all because of the fucking Jews. This is like a classic neo-Nazi talking point, and it's just a joke. They mostly get this from the fact that, like, one lawyer at one point happened to be Jewish, and he successfully convinced the Supreme Court that pornography was covered under the First Amendment. Not to mention, at the time when he was arguing in favor for pornography, that was like people in bed together, fully clothed. Like, it was nothing compared to what we have nowadays, okay? But still, just absolute cringe.
But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician.
Okay, so invented highways. Let's see. Fact check. Did Hitler invent highways and microphones? The Merriam-Webster dictionary notes that the first use of the word highway in English, meaning a public way, predates the 12th century. A form of road infrastructure now commonly referred to in the US as a highway also predates Hitler's time as leader of Germany. Ye may have been referring to the German Autobahn system of highways, which saw heavy involvement from the Nazi government. They weren't actually involved in creating it, they just spread propaganda that they created that. Way to go, Kanye. Falling for literal Nazi propaganda. Man, I gotta just wipe a tear away. You've come so far, my friend. German news outlet published a report about the Nazis' involvement with the Autobahn in 2012, calling the idea that the Nazis invented them a historical fiction. Germany was initially unable to build highways due to financial constraints following World War I. Though there's been a long dispute about the timeline of inventions surrounding sound technology and how patents were obtained, the microphone far predates Hitler's birth, let alone his adult life. Hitler made great use of microphones, however, and was well known for his speeches, which were frequently recorded and broadcast. Hitler played no part in the invention or development of the technology. So it's just completely false. It's not even based a little bit on like, well, he misconstrued this fact, or no, it's just fucking false. It's just a lie. What's next? Did you hear about the time that the Nazis invented sliced bread? It's actually really incredible, and nobody ever praised thanks to Hitler before they bite into their buttered toast.
You can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good, and I'm done with that.
You can say it out loud. You've just said it out loud, but the reason is that when people say that, they either one, lie like you do, or two, seem to have a rather transparent vested interest in defending Adolf Hitler like you do. So yeah, you can go ahead and and talk about the good things he did, but just expect the backlash when it happens.
I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one?
Let's stop with all this nasty, vitriolic hate about the KKK. You know, everybody's always so busy talking about how the KKK lynched black people. Nobody ever stops and thanks the KKK for teaching us how to tie superior knots. My rope used to always come undone, okay? But thanks to the KKK, I know the best and tightest way to tie a fucking knot. And nobody ever talks about it. Nowadays, you're not even allowed to say it. Nowadays, you're not even allowed to think it. That's what you sound like, fucking Adolf. And then, yeah, I love everybody, especially Hitler. Why especially Hitler? Why couldn't you say I love everybody, but, you know, Hitler is kind of down on the list there? Why can't you say something that would possibly help you? He's either trying to destroy his career or he genuinely, which is more believable, is that he genuinely believes this stuff. It's more believable and also far more terrifying.
Like that one. Hey, Ron, you going to do anything to fix Chicago?
Well, I am worried about the thousands of black folks down in the month of Chicago, but let me expand on that because that's a nuanced issue. Yeah. You know, my grandfather grew up in Dallas and from a pretty wealthy family.
Also, Hitler was born Christian.
Oh, I've actually studied some of the history on it, but it's very.
Alex Jones is like, okay, I was trying to help you out here, buddy. Okay, I said you're not a Nazi. I was trying to give you an optics win, and instead you took it and you ran with it. All right, you didn't just bite the bullet. You fucking deep-throated that bullet. And now you just ran with it and told everybody how much of a Nazi you are. Hold on a second.
It's hidden. Even like our truth, the fact that African Americans were in America before the Pilgrims. That truth is hidden. That we are actually the Native Americans, or some of us are Native. Or the fact that what Kyrie got in trouble is pointing out that we're Jewish slave boats. Like, and then...
Well, look at Australia.
This just in. The Jews did slavery. Oh my God. I swear to God, when his career is completely in flames and he's lost everything, he's going to blame the Jews for that too.
Yeah.
They've done some of the genetic typing of the Aborigines there, and they're basically Africans.
There you go. You know, so all of these truths, and then the current truths about banking, about the government. My favorite thing that I got to say with Tim Pool was, Rahm Emanuel was right there next to Obama. Jared Kushner was right there next to Trump. What are those two people, those two Zionists, I gave it away, have in common?
He keeps playing on this exact same example, and it's really, really concerning. He actually thinks this is a really good point. Could you at least give us some information about how much influence they had over those people?
Nick, can you pick that up and expound on that?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting because you've been going on these interviews with Lex Friedman and with Tim Pool and Piers Morgan, and they always say, well, don't talk about a group, talk about the individuals. And I would point out, one, it's hypocritical because in the same interview, Tim Pool said, well, wouldn't Ye be so great for the black vote? You can say the black vote, but you talk about Jewish businessmen.
They actually think this is a good point. Holy shit. You realize that you can classify or categorize a large group of people based on the commonality, which is they voted. They're black who voted for this thing. That's how they're classifying it. You're just saying they're all Jewish, so that means they're bad? They're all Jewish, so they all think the same? Even if we said the black vote, nobody's implying that all black people think the same. They're just talking about who black people mainly voted for.
And somehow that's a problem. You can't talk.
They think that is a good point, and it's really, really concerning too.
About groups when it's one but not the other. The other thing is that there is something baked into the cake in Judaism which affects how they're brokering these kinds of contracts with entertainers like Ye. If you look at the Talmud, which is a real Jewish holy book, or part of the holy book, there's the written Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible. There's the oral Torah, which was written down as the Mishnah and then interpreted in the Talmud. In the Talmud, it says that Jews have to treat Gentiles differently than they treat other Jews. There's all kinds of examples of this.
So what you're talking about right now is Orthodox Judaism. First of all, neo-Nazis claim that Jews are ethnically Jewish, right? They don't have to be practicing the religion of Judaism to be ethnically Jewish, which is usually what you cucks are talking about to begin with. Second of all, you talk about that they have certain practices and ways that they must abide by according to their holy text. You're talking far more about Orthodox Judaism right now. Not to mention, Pew Research has already demonstrated that there is a massive divide amongst Jews in this country when it comes to Orthodox Judaism. You have the progressive Jews and the Orthodox Jews, and they have virtually nothing in common with each other, according to surveys done. You invoking the religion actually is very useless, especially when compared to the broader conspiracy theory that you chuckle fucks usually propagate. And second of all, even if you were right that certain degrees of Orthodox Judaism has certain rules when it comes to how you issue contracts or some shit, then not every Jewish person in a position of power is an Orthodox Jew. And there's a massive amount of disagreement among those Jews as well. So you've not only diminished your own conspiracy theory, but you've also demonstrated that Jews are not, in fact, a monolith. Neo-Nazi Nick with the neo-dick. Now he's got the neo-brain also, so it would seem.
They say that if a Jew indirectly kills a Gentile, there's nothing even wrong with that. There's nothing morally wrong with that. They say that for a Jew to have sex with a Gentile is comparable to bestiality. They say that...
Wait, you were caught on camera saying that if a white girl fucks a black guy, it's comparable to her fucking a dog. You said this, Nick! You know, guys, did you know in certain religious texts it says things comparable to the type of shit that I've always said? I'm very offended when it's from the Jews, you see. But when I say it, well, it's based in red-pilled.
The semen of a Gentile is like that of horses.
Also, not to mention, there's plenty of shit in the Bible that says stuff like that as well. And not every Jew subscribes to the orthodoxy of Judaism, especially not to the degree that you're talking about. Last but not least, even if they did, what do you think they're going to say? Well, he was a Gentile, so it was okay for me to kill him, and what? The U.S. justice system is just going to ignore it? What are you talking about right now, Nick?
What we did is we brought Netanyahu with us.
I mean, I'm in the twilight zone right now.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say? What do you have to say to Alex Jones right now, Nick?
Oh, get it, guys? It's a net and then a Yahoo chocolate milk bottle. This is like Sesame Street for Nazis. What am I watching right now? Did he think this was funny or clever?
It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with Nick and Ye. Okay.
Alex Jones is like, what have I done, man? I already owe like $1 trillion to these Sandy Hook families. Come on, man. What am I doing? I thought this was going to give me a little boost here in positivity. Instead, I have this masked manic maniac playing with a fucking net and drinking out of a Yahoo bottle while regurgitating neo-Nazi talking points. Man, you know you've made it when even Alex Jones is uncomfortable.
I had no idea your voice is going to sound like that, Netanyahu.
So you don't like Benjamin Netanyahu?
I just heard about this guy 2 weeks ago since like the tweet, and I thought he had a funny name. I heard he's like really into like, he's like a super killer. I could die for saying this.
So you know nothing about the guy, you just thought he had a funny name? Your name is Yay! If that's all it takes to make fun of somebody, then...
It's a divide and conquer strategy. I'm not getting into the reparations debate. I'm saying that the most Nazi-like activities I've seen, and the Nazis, in my view, were thugs that shook people down, did a lot of really bad things.
But they did good things too. We're going to stop dissing the Nazis all the time.
Okay, we're going to get to that. I don't want to get digressed into this, but...
But why, Kanye? Do you feel personally attacked? Is that why?
People down did a lot of really bad things.
But they did good things too. We're going to stop dissing the Nazis all the time.
Okay, we're going to get to that.
They did good things too. Guys, did you know that Nazis, actually, they did some good. You know, before they became Nazis, one of them actually helped a small old lady cross the street. Did you know that? Why are we dissing on the Nazis? Yeah, later that guy actually did gas that old lady in the chamber. But I mean, come on! They've done some good shit too. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're insane, Kanye. There's not even any commentary left.
Because there's Jewish people that saw how I was treated, and they're like, this is wrong. This guy just gave an opinion. I didn't cause any harm. I didn't harm anyone. All I said is...
POV, you have no idea how words and rhetoric can inspire action. You're a public figure running for president, and you don't understand how words can inspire action. Bravo. Bravo, brainless.
And you've got a little bit of the Hitler fetish going on.
It's not a fetish. It's not a fetish. That's a term like, I just love information. They have some documentaries. Apparently, Bezos is allowed to put up any documentary, but if a basketball player tweets it, he'll lose his entire career. I think that's...
Well, that's where I want to go, because you've got millions, hundreds of millions of Chinese locked down right now and Chinese are great people, but their government in that country is the most racist, homogenistic.
Even Alex Jones is like, you got a little Hitler fetish going on, right? I'm making it like it's a joke, but I'm truly uncomfortable. Okay, so those are just a couple clips from Kanye being absolutely unhinged. But my friends, that's not even the worst of it. Because there are quotes that I didn't feel like scrolling through a 3-hour-long video to try and find. Thankfully, they were summarized here in this little article. Kanye West says, I like Hitler. And Alex Jones responds, I don't like Hitler. I know you're trying to be shocking with that. And West said, I'm not trying to be shocking. I like Hitler. I do not, ... The Holocaust is not what happened. Let's look at the facts of that. Hitler has a lot of redeeming qualities. So, Holocaust denialism. We've moved from praising Hitler and saying that the Nazis shouldn't be dissed on to now just straight up denying the fucking Holocaust. This is what happens when you buddy up with Nick Fuentes. Apparently, degeneracy is heavily contagious. Literally, 2 weeks they've been chilling, and suddenly, he's a motherfucking Holocaust denier. I guess Nick really is influential. West says, and he didn't kill 6 million Jews. That's just like factually incorrect. But for the ADL, I want to say there's a lot of good Nazis that were just fighting for their country and for them all. So, just following orders, Pepe. And it's factually incorrect that 6 million Jews died. How? You just said you like information, Kanye. Do you just like any information, or do you prefer the information to be true? So yeah, apparently the Holocaust is factually untrue. I don't really know exactly why, but this clear case of manic depression has told me that it's factually incorrect, and I believe it with all my heart. Well, that is the sad state of affairs regarding Kanye West. Poor dude is just, he's off the rocker, man. He's lost the plot.